Poem Heaven If You Are Not Here on Earth, written by Kuyampu. I have told you how this poet stresses and warns his readers gently that this heaven is not somewhere else in the sky, but it is here on this beautiful earth. I am LD Ratnakar, lecturer in English. Today I am going to deal with the poem Heaven If You Are Here on This Earth. As a nature poet, because he was influenced and inspired by the romantic poets of English literature like William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge. The poem originally was written in Kannada language. Later it has been translated into English by Dr. C. Naganna. The entire poem is divided into 3 stanzas. It is a short poem, I have told you. Now look at the difficult words you have in this poem. Point number 1 is that is nymph or nymphs. Nymph is like your heavenly angels, like apsaras or apsares. The second one is the word froth, it means foam. Third one is verdant, means green grass of the garden. And the last one is nectar, it is honey like sweet drop there, like your amruta. These are the 4 actually difficult words you have in this poem. Now come to the poem. Just look at the given image there. As a nature poet, when he has divided this poem into 3 parts, first 2 lines appears to be very distinct. The poet feels that this heaven cannot be anywhere else except on this earth, because he believed that heaven is supposed to be on a higher field far away from this earth, but it is only the blessed place. It is there on this earth, and who can reach there? The poem has that beauty in it. He gently questions us as a poet. We need to have that poetic eye like this poet, because we are human beings. He wonders that if we, the human beings with all our traits like humanism, compassion, love and forgiveness cannot be God, who else can we think that this God is? Because in reality, the word paradise is not there. The poet says that there is no heaven in reality. He strongly believes that heaven and earth are not separate entities. They refer to our beliefs. Where there is happiness, where there is beauty of our life, you could find such type of heavenliness, blissful place on this earth there. Later he expresses his conviction that there is no God, and it is the man himself who is God. And he firmly believes that we ourselves are the real gods on this earth. Real gods on this earth. Just look at the given first 2 lines. Heaven, if you are not here on this earth. We have to understand the power and beauty of this nature, because this nature is the greatest creation on this earth there. It gives everything to us there, but we need to learn from this nature, and we should believe in that universal principle, live and let us live. The poet has that power. We need to understand the power and beauty of this nature, which we see through our eyes. The poet considers the concept like God, nymphs, and heaven as myths here created by humans, because the word paradise itself is an unseen place. In reality, that paradise is not existed. That means it is not there. The same paradise or the blissful place we have on this earth there. He strongly feels that. He strongly feels that the God resides in everybody, and we ourselves are the real gods. He believes that only humans as gods live on this heavenly earth. For him, heaven is not something beyond the boundaries of this world, since the earth itself possesses all that, so we called as heavenly promises. Heaven, if you are not here on this earth, where else could you be? Just look at the question here. The poet puts this question to all his readers here. If you are not the real gods and goddesses on this earth, and there are no gods and goddesses in this world here, that means you are the real God. You are the real God. The same godliness it is there in the beauty of this nature here, because this earth possesses all the heavenly promises. In order to break the illusion of this heaven in man's mind, he presents before us the beauty of this nature here. If we ourselves cannot be gods, just look at this line here. The poet continues to personify the nature and mentions how man is communion with this nature here, because we are responsible for this heaven. It is to be on this earth. The splendor of this nature has that living force in it there. The poet brings out his rationalistic outlook of this heaven, and later he says that one should pursue that divinity and enjoy heavenly bliss in the company of this nature itself here. Later he urges we need not to seek heaven after death here. We can enjoy that heavenly bliss by looking at the nature on this earth itself here. Then there can be no gods if you are not real gods and goddesses on this earth, because you have all the blissful things on this earth here in the form of that nature. If you cannot be a god and goddess, and there can be no gods and goddesses, he says that if we ourselves aren't heavenly nymphs, like angels, like apsaras of that abode place of that god here, the poet tries to introduce us the different forms of this heaven that exists on earth there. As rightly I have told you in Kannada, Ravi Kanadan Kavi Kanda, it means whatever that poet sees on this earth, even the sun, that is the unique thing that cannot be seen on this earth, he says. The poet, looking at the nature on this earth, he tries to introduce us by emphasizing the bliss of this nature and experiences while looking at the streams they are leaping down here. He expresses his conviction here that there is no God, and it is the man himself who is the real God. We ourselves aren't heavenly nymphs, and there are no nymphs, there are no heavenly angels, heavenly bodies, if you are not nymphs there. That means they are not situated somewhere else in this world here. He firmly believes that we ourselves are the real gods, real living gods on this earth here. If you are not a real God, that means there is no God on this earth, he says. And we ourselves are the real angels like nymphs, and the nymphs are to be nowhere else, but it is on the earth here. It is on the earth only. The heaven and the God are merely of man's imaginations. We have to change the perception of our mind here. It tries to tell us that the different forms of heaven that exists on earth, like the heaven, or the beauty of this nature. In the beauty of this nature, we have such a type of heavenliness. Later, he believes that only humans, because we have such type of human being qualities here. In those good qualities, like in compassion, in humanism, in love and forgiveness, you could see such type of blissfulness there. Since the earth possesses everything, because as a poet he presents before the readers beautiful images here, the images of this nature. The images of this nature, since this poetry is a rhetoric act, the poet brings out the beauty by using the right poetic devices, which surely hypnotize the readers here. Because we have been enjoying reading poems, there is a famous saying that what cannot be seen by that sun, the poet can see here. It means poet has such a division, such a poetic eye. He can go beyond of the capacity of that sun here. The poet can see and bring such type of heavenly world in front of the readers here, and he imbibes the real beauty of the nature in his writings here. In the last two stanzas, the poet describes the beauty of this nature here, because the earth he equates it is to a good behavior and concern of you people here. He describes this nature and tries to concentrate on a few divine aspects as per as his analysis here. On the other hand, while this roaring stream, just look at the description of this nature here. As a poet, he says that he tries to tell us that the nature has different forms of this heavenliness that exist on this earth, like green forests, the stream, the leap down the hills, the waves, the roll across the sea, the moonlight, the splendor harvest appears more beautiful than imaginary descriptions of man here. Hence, he suggests that one must enjoy the pleasures of this heaven looking at nature there. A rolling surf at the edge of the water waves. When the water rose in a roaring stream, you could hear the flowing sound of that water, and in that sound, you could enjoy the real beauty here. It is rolling and rushing towards its kingdom there, in the rolling surf at the edge of the water, in the thunder sunshine, everywhere in this earth. That means on this earth, we have such type of beautiful things here. In the thunder sunshine, when that sun rises, when the ray of the sun falls on the leaves, when that leaf has such type of dew in it, the dew reflects like a diamond here. It reflects like a diamond there, and in the tender sunshine leans on verdant gardens. When that tender sunshine falls on the green grass or the green blade of the grass in your garden, verdant means green grass there. It reflects like a diamond here. In everything, in every beauty, you could notice such a type of heavenliness. And then the gentle sun makes this earth. As a poet, he says that the nature is more beautiful than the unseen place here. All these things makes the earth more heavenliness. In the last line, in the splendor of this harvest, during the harvest season, when this radiant sun makes the earth is a heavenly place here. During the full moon day, the beauty of the nature during the harvest time, when the moonlight falls on these crops, heaven lies all over. Just look at the beauty here. The nature gets such type of gaiety there, the beauty, whenever it gets such type of moonlight during the full moon day here. Like the beautiful streams rushing very fast and rolling bubbles of that water can be seen, and in the soft sunlight, the green gardens, especially the radiant sun, makes feel that the earth is like a heaven, like a heavenly place. He asks us to view the heaven when the gentle moon spills milk or milky white light during the full moon on the heap of the grains harvested, and think that heaven is here on this earth. Heaven lies all over the world here. It means it is there within us, and we need to find out and we need to discover the meaning of this mankind here. Imbibing and spilling the song of that nectar. Look at these two lines here. He tells us that a poet inspired by all this natural beauty there, in the beauty of the heaps of grain during the harvest time, he writes such type of beautiful poetry here. When he gets such type of inspiration, it imbibes and spilling the song of that nectar. That means the poet outpours, it spills out the emotions and feelings of this poet here. He tells us that the poet inspired by all the natural beauty and writes such type of beautiful poetry or a poem which is as sweet as that nectar there, like our makaranda or a sweet honey there. By imbibing and getting such type of inspiration, the poet does create heaven on this earth here. Like this poet, if we have such type of poetic eye, and we can write such type of beautiful poetry here, the poetry or a poem here which is as sweet as the nectar here, like honey there. By writing such poetry, the poet, only the poets or the people who have such type of poetic eye can create such type of heavenliness on this earth, or to inspire us to think that this earth is like heaven everywhere. The poet in last two stanzas presents us the charming sights of this nature, and he argues that nothing can be more heavenly than the forms of the nature which lie all over the world. Later he directly addresses to this nature, and he declares that if heaven does not exist on this earth, and where else it can be. He justifies his statement referring to the streams, the leap down roaring from the top of the hills and rolling surf at the edge of the waves, the tender rays of sunlight falling on the green garden, and thus the sun makes this earth as a heavenly place here, because the poet, only the poet can imbibe. He will get such type of inspiration and spills out the song of that nectar over to the readers from his heart, from his mind. The nectar itself makes the works eternal, and those works pleases the minds of the readers who read the poetry here. Therefore, the poet says that only poet can create such type of heaven on this earth there. This is the brief summary of the poem. Hope you understood the theme of the poem. Read this poem once again. Thank you.